Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Fisher with In the Doll World, and I'm here today with my lovely co-host, Miss Jack Taylor.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Miss Jack. And we're also here today with our wonderful friend, Mr. Hextian.
Hello, everyone. Again, Miss Georgette, Miss Tammy, thank you for having me. This is our anniversary now.
That's our annual show.
Our annual show, yes. So again, I'm really honored and thankful for speaking with you guys again.
Yes, and it's good to have you. It's good to see you this time. You know, we didn't see you last time.
That's right. Last time we didn't get to see you.
Just heard you.
Right. Oh yeah. But I think we conversed really long. I think I remember last year, and it was so comforting.
It was really nice
because of all the chaos happening.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to talk to you guys.
Yes.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, it was a good time to be talking
to you too. Yeah.
Yes.
Following you and having you back on. So yeah, we got a good show ready.
Yes, definitely. So today we have brought our friend in today to talk to us about Pride. We're doing the Pride Month. And so we're talking to Hextian to give us some information on drag and being a young person in the LGBTQ plus queer arena. So that's why we invited Hextian here with us today. Thank you, Hextian, for joining us.
Yes. And I want to say, by no means am I like completely knowledgeable. I'm just here to share my own
experience.
Of course,
yes.
Queer
definitely
experience. But yeah, I think individually everyone should do their own research and because I feel like queerness is so unique to every single person. Even in the space itself, not everyone agrees.
Right.
So we'll talk about that.
Yes,
totally.
We're excited about that. Yes, we had a whole big conversation about the use of the term queer because we started out using queer, and can't remember if I had talked to you about that or not, but we had one of our friends from Britain. He's like a boomer, so that age, and he was really offended by the use of the term queer. And in all of the circles that I, know about and am part of, queer is like the term that covers everybody. So it was really interesting to have this discussion with this person who was like enraged. When I was a kid, I was beaten up and I was called queer, and that's not okay. And then to see the younger people saying, we know that was a slur, it was a bad word, but we're pulling it in and we're embracing it and we're using it as our term, because what he suggested was that we not use queer and that we use LG or gay, LGBT or gay. Yeah. And for those of us who have any knowledge of the queer space, we know that doesn't include pansexual, asexual. I mean, there's lots of different orientations under there that are not covered. So neither of those terms, gay, because then it's only the men, it's not the women, it's not the other people. So so
I think queer now has become an umbrella term, like you said. I feel like it's just a safe word to say if you don't want to go in details, because I feel like when you're like, I guess, coming out or telling someone who you really are, it's better to just say one word than to be like, oh, I'm this and I'm also this, but I'm attracted to this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because gender and sexuality are completely different.
Exactly.
And not everyone gets that still. Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, for my queerness, I just feel like that's encompassing everything, like with the dolls, I feel like not normal people really loves dolls. So I feel like that encompasses the queerness, the weirdness of it all. And then I'm gay. I like to dabble in drag.
Right.
And in terms of like dressing, I like to play on the masculine and feminine spectrum a lot, because I feel like I can't stick to one. And so I really like to make it fluid.
I was going to ask you, do you see yourself as gender fluid?
No, not necessarily. I just feel like the presentation, sometimes. Yeah.
Okay.
So in terms of how I present, I feel like I like to present very fluid.
Okay.
And it just, you know, if we were in a video game, it unlocks more clothing options. You know, like
I
everyone
hear
now
you.
is it's been trendy for cisgender heterosexual guys to wear skirts.
Right.
And there's that discourse on they're just doing it for, you know, TikToks or just for Instagram or whatever.
Mhm.
But they're not having the real precautions of real people who are not either female presenting enough or,
Mhm.
you know, straight presenting enough to wear those skirts because they get bullied for it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right,
So
right.
I want
Yeah.
to back up. You used a couple
Yeah.
of terms that I don't know if people know. You
Yeah.
said cisgendered and heterosexual.
Mhm.
What is cisgendered?
So cisgender is when you are, for example, you're born male and you identify as male.
Hmm.
So that's cisgender. And then
Okay.
trans is if you're
Okay.
born male, but deep inside you are female.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
heterosexual is just straight. I think. I
Yeah.
think that's the only
Yeah. I think
word yeah.
heterosexual just you're
Yeah, you're
attracted to the
attracted.
opposite
Oh yeah,
sex.
you're attracted to the opposite sex. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
exactly.
There we go.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure because there's so many terms being bounced around now, you know,
Yeah.
and so
And I think that's why there was that rage because before there was only gay, maybe lesbian,
Right.
and then queer was just a slur, you know.
Right,
Or
right.
I think they, you know, I think fairies was even a thing,
yes.
right?
Yes.
But I don't think now those are. At least when I grew up, I wasn't called those. Maybe I wasn't. I grew up. I wasn't really like here in the U.S. I wasn't like gay. I was not hiding, but I was like I was flowing through. So I don't think it
Hmm.
was noticeably.
Hmm.
But in the Philippines, it was very, very apparent.
Okay. So, but
So I mean,
when did you come here? You came here like 9?
I came here when I was 14, 15.
Oh, I
Okay.
thought you were younger. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
they
I
wanted me to grow up there in the Philippines.
okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
different, I mean, you know, with the culture and everything, it's just a whole different bullying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
How did that translate into your doll creation and creating dolls that are drag? And how did that, you know, transition into, yeah, you presenting
Well,
dolls that way?
now, yeah. Well, now I think it's just, I think I said it before, I really like to create dolls that I never really had. And
Hmm.
those were superhero dolls. Because if it's superhero, it's going to be a 12 scale, which is so short. And they're not really glammed up. So right now I've been doing a lot of like the super heroines, but like glamorous version or like it would my dolls right now like my superhero dolls it would be like drag queens cosplaying as superheroes in a doll form. That's how I like to think about it.
Hmm.
But I think also it's because Barbie had or specifically Barbie, I'm attacking Barbie, hasn't been
Uh-oh.
glamorous for a while. And we
Yeah.
all know I think we all know Barbie was so glamorous from the 60s towards the 90s.
Hmm.
And then in the early 2000s a little bit. But now the contemporary Barbie has been very, very everyday without being really, really everyday. I don't know. It's not like I really enjoy. You guys follow the Barbie Style account on Instagram? So Barbie's Instagram, her Barbie style is like a lifestyle
Hmm.
Instagram where
Hmm.
she's supposed to be like a real person with like her friends and everything, and that's kind of how they represent her right now. But they don't really sell. I mean, this is the first time that we saw a Barbie style as a doll
Hmm.
that they sold, which is really cool. But other than that, everything has been pretty like the fashionistas are pretty basic in terms of like
Yeah.
textiles and just printed fabrics and everything. So I tried to bring the glamour back to Barbie with my customs.
Good.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. But you do fabulously. So
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just amazing work. Amazing, amazing work.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah. I find myself, I'm the doll Georgette and I love dolls in different ways. I'm the one who has to look at everything. And I was just watching.
Oh, really?
I find myself watching. I love these little short recaps that you do of the dolls that you've made, you know, the customization. So I find myself, you know, I'll be sitting there at Facebook and it's like when I come, I was like, oh, who's this? Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, you can get caught up in those, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw the Mulan. That's what I saw last night. The Mulan. Yeah, you remove the eyelashes, and I love the way you flushed her. And
thank you.
I just love watching you. I love your shows, and it's one of the things that I think is so cool about your shows is that you talk about, oops, I made a mistake, you know, and it's like, well, let's see what we can do to change this around, and it's really nice for those of us who are doing it and playing at it. And it's like, well, you know, Hex made a mistake and he moved on. You know, we can do this too.
Oh, well, for the most part, it's like if I'm trying something new on that video, I know it's going to be a failure. So I usually try to, before even filming, I would try the process and see how it is so I can kind of gauge the process. But oftentimes I only try to record somewhat of, you know, the failure, because it's going to be so many different takes of just failing and failing and failing. And yeah, like there was a time where I was trying to replicate Barbie's hands through resin, and I think the resin that I used was incorrect, so it was either curing way too fast, and then there was bubbles, and that took me like so many different pairs to get to. Actually, it didn't work. So overall, it just didn't work, and so I had to come up with a plan B. But yeah, I mean, I do get comments saying that it's helpful to see the failed attempts on the video. Because I feel like people forget that it's not always perfect. I mean, it's not perfect. So it's all, I feel like everything is trial and error when it comes to art.
Yeah. And I think that does help, because it does make people feel more comfortable, and it's not, you know, it's not edited to the point where, you know, like you said, it's like all perfection. Like you can't be real doing that, you know, because that kind of work, there's, like you said, going to show up with so many other opportunities for it not to be right, right? For you to then change it. And so I think letting people see that is just letting people see the real process and understanding that, it's maybe messed up now, but I could fix it, or I could figure out how to fix it. And so that's really cool.
It's just I think people also need to know that it's not, you know, it's not a race, it's a marathon. But for me, because I have like YouTube deadlines in my head, it's a race.
Right.
I'm like, I need to come up with some like a plan B, or else this video is not going to come out. So that's the only thing.
That's cool.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
And so we were, I guess how we started this is we were talking about your dolls and drag, and how you, why do you do so many drag dolls?
Well, just like I said, I feel like we're just lacking glamour.
Okay, so
we're lacking the glamour. We're lacking that. Even now, I've been dressing up just to go out, and it's cool because you know you only do half of your face in makeup, the half are in mask. But yeah, I just feel like it's fun to try to dress up again. I feel like we had a year of like just not doing anything and not going out. So now if we are going to go out, I'd rather be, you know, dressed well. I mean, it's not every day, but, you know, at least I'm trying. And I feel like that's really, really great. And it makes me personally feel so much better when I know I look good and I feel good. And I feel like that's how it is with my dolls too. I want them to look good. I want them to look really, really fashionable, or, you know, trendy and classic, and I try to merge all of that into, you know, a 12-inch doll, and it's so great, because you would think that it's so easy to just do it, but it takes so long.
No, I can look and tell that it's anyone who follows you and anyone who's tried to do any of the customization. It takes a while. It takes a minute. I made a wig recently, and it took a little while to get that wig made. So yes.
I think it helps when you break each process apart. Like I don't know what wig were you making? What
I made a wig
fiber?
for a little. I made a wig using my hair.
Oh,
I made
okay.
an Afro wig for
Dina.
Deja.
Yeah. Oh, for Deja. No, it's for Dina.
I'm sorry, Dina.
One of the big beautiful dolls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you had to make wefts of it? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been working on a mermaid outfit for her, so her vestiges are kind of out.
Oh wow! Wait, did you does she have a cap, like a wig cap, or is it just on her head?
It's a wig cap.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's so cool.
Really cool. It looks so nice.
Thank you. I'm sorry,
I like the colors.
Thank you.
So Tammy's colors.
I was doing my hair, and it's just like, she didn't have a wig. Yeah, because her hair, I had removed her hair, and so she needs some hair. And so I was doing my hair. It's like, she needs my hair. So.
Yeah. It's like a mini me now.
No, it's like a mini Tammy.
Technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it's easy to break apart the thing. So you make you make the wefts, and then you glue you even make the wig cap. Yes. I feel like if you think about the doll making it as a whole, it's definitely so overwhelming. You have to break it apart. At least for me, that's what I do. But some people, they really can work so fast. I mean, Hope and Atelier on YouTube, like she makes dolls so quickly. I don't know how.
Yeah. I
mean, you do get into the flow of it, and when you're in the zone, it gets much easier. But I feel like even working up to the zone part, it takes a while.
Yeah, I think it would. But how long does it take you to customize a doll? Does that really depend on how much?
Yeah, it depends on the error. It depends on the trial and error. But for the most part, my deadline personally is 2 weeks. Sometimes 3. I really try to do 2 videos a month, but it doesn't happen. It's hard to do it, and I get really, really stressed out. So yeah, I think that would be my personal deadline. And then it depends also if there's a collaboration with other doll people, if we're making like a Pride doll or a Halloween doll. So just depends on everything. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's a personal deadline? You said that you gave yourself that deadline. That's personal deadline. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right.
That does include the video editing as well.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Oh wow, that takes a long time.
Yeah, the video editing takes a minute. Yeah, and I can imagine if you, do the whole process, you record the whole process. That must really be something to edit.
Have to edit. Yeah.
Well, it's just I would record 6 hours of footage, and then I'm like, I don't want to imagine 6 hours going into 20 minutes. I don't know what parts to cut off. I don't know what parts to overspeed, because obviously, if it's too oversped, it's a little jarring to watch. So you want to cut things out, and it's like, oh my god, why did I bother recording it?
Yes.
And for me, my personal hate is doing the voiceover on the videos.
Why? Your voice is nice.
So long. Well, thank you, but it takes so long. So I try to have fun with it.
Yes, you do.
But not everyone
gets
like
fun.
Yeah, not everyone gets the humor though. So I think for the most part I should just be like, this is what I'm doing, and that's it.
No,
like you can't crack jokes or anything.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, just be you. That's it.
Exactly. I mean and that's one of the things that we have to look at and that's with all artists. It's not just doll. It's not just the end product. It's there's something that separates you from Lori Lynn's There's something that separates you from Misha Yarborough. You are different people. And so when you come to the table, you come and you bring your history, your life experience, and people like you. You have over 1 million followers. You're lovely. What you bring to the table is fun and
I love the stories. I love the jokes,
Yeah.
Like you said, I know some people may not get it, but I think just trying to, be so like linear and, and what you're saying is not going to be, it's not as exciting as learning about who you are and your personality and, you know what I mean? And part of you that's the creator.
I do think there is because before I would write scripts for my voiceover, which takes another time of its own instead of just going in with the voiceover itself and just like winging it. But I do think that there is a level of professionalism when writing the script, because then your sentences are a little bit more well constructed. They're not just I'm doing this and this. It's a little bit more. There's more creativeness with the structures of the sentence. So I do like that as well. But for the most part, if I'm like, okay, I need to get this video out, like in 3 days, I'm just gonna go wing the voiceover. I do write my intros. That's the only thing that I consistently write, because there's some points that I want to make, or there's some references that I need to make sure, or if I need to credit someone, that I write that in the script for the intros. Yeah.
That makes sense. So I want to make sure that we talk some about just pride and about you at this time in your life and pride, because we're going to be interviewing people at different ages and who are different, different parts of their life with pride. And in our last conversation, we spoke a little bit about about queer and about supporting these movements, the Black Lives Movement, and so do you, as you say, you go out in public sometimes dressed like you're dressed now?
Yeah.
Do you feel safe doing that? And
no, absolutely not. I think also that I think that maybe is because of the upbringing as well. Like I've always known, but I've never been able to come outside. I've been out mentally, but not physically. My cultural background is just so traditional. So yeah, I think that might have affected my confidence level. I feel like when I'm out, and yeah, I just don't feel safe. Like right now, I don't think I can go to the men's. The number one thing is the bathroom.
Okay.
I don't think I can go to the men's bathroom in this.
Right.
Like using the urinal. I'm fine using the urinal because hello.
Right.
But I don't think I can, because there was one time I didn't have the veil. I didn't have the pearls, but I had the beret. I had a shirt that's almost a dress, leggings, and then heels. And then I remember washing my hands, and then a guy came in, because it was the door was behind me, and the sink was in front of it. So I knew that he looked at me up and down, because he didn't go all the way in. I think he was thinking, oh, did I go to the women's bathroom? He came outside to check the sign, and of course to confirm it, and then he went back in. And the urinals was right beside the sink. I'm trying to paint a picture for the audio listeners. The sink that I was washing my hands in was towards my right, and so he was just staring me down while I was washing my hands. I didn't give us a look back, because I feel like that would be confrontational.
Confrontational.
Yes.
So I just did. I washed my hands. I got to the towel, and then I left. So already that already I felt like, oh my God, this is like dangerous,
Dangerous, yeah.
So I can only imagine. That's why whenever I go out in full drag with the wig, makeup, corset, and everything, I try not to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
which is like ridiculous because we all have to pee.
Yes.
Right.
So I can only imagine, like, I mean, I'm only playing dress up for the day.
Hmm.
So I can only imagine someone who is trans who, wants to feel like their authentic self, wants to match the inside to the outside, but they can't. I don't know. It's a struggle to even just use the bathroom. So I
Yeah.
do wish that everyone would have the individual bathrooms or like the family style bathrooms. I feel like those are
Yes.
really, really helpful.
Mhm.
So whenever I go out in drag, I have to plan my day. Where are we going? What are the bathroom situations? What is the
Wow.
commute like, and who I am going to be with?
Yes.
Because that
Yes.
also depends. Because I know I can't defend myself. So if I'm with someone else that, I mean, none of us can defend ourselves, but I feel like there's powers in
Power in
numbers, at
numbers.
least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Think about that all the time. And for our, trans women and men,
Hmm.
and non-binary, because I feel like there's always the pressure to pass. You know what I mean? Do you guys
Hmm.
know like what that means when you're like passing
Well, why don't
in
you
the trans?
explain that?
Yeah.
I
So
Explain
I
know,
feel
that.
like
but
to
yeah.
pass, if you're a trans woman, obviously I'm just speaking from what I have,
Mhm.
seen. To pass is much more safe. Like if you are a trans woman, like everything is realistic in terms of makeup, hair,
Mm.
body.
But
Um,
stop. Sorry to interrupt you.
so
Explain the term trans woman to people
so
who might not understand what that
so
means.
it would be you were born male and then deep inside you transition into female. Your soul is woman, you are woman, you're just your
Mhm.
body's just born differently. And
Mhm.
so to pass is to just be realistic as a woman and not have quote unquote male presenting imagery, visual
Hmm.
parts, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Hmm.
Or visual cues, social visual cues.
Hmm.
So I feel like for people who are like non-binary, it's I think a bit harder because not everyone, first of all, not everyone can afford to completely transition
Mhm.
um, as to pass as a woman.
Hmm.
Right.
Not everyone has the funds to do that, and I feel
Hmm.
like that's why it's a little bit harmful um, to everyone in between that.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
you're not gonna present like completely as a woman, and then like what bathrooms are you gonna use because you're gonna feel unsafe.
Hmm.
Right.
Don't know.
Right.
Sorry, I
No,
guess
no,
I wasn't as confident in as I thought I was in the head. Like in my head, it made so much sense, but I
it makes a
wasn't
lot of
really.
sense.
No, it does
No.
make a lot of
And,
sense.
and, and the other
Okay.
thing is, I think it's important that it's not scripted because you can tell like the fear. You can express this is what I was
Yeah.
feeling and these are the things that I
That's
had to
important.
do. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and you talked about the term non-binary. I don't know if everyone knows non-binary. So
So
non-binary.
non-binary is you're in the spectrum of male and female gender. That you are in the spectrum. You are the non-binary. And I feel, from what I have heard, I feel like some days you are more male, some days you're more female, and then some days you're just in between.
Hmm.
And so you're just like on the spectrum. You're just like flowing left to right.
Hmm.
So I think that's what my
And
idea.
for me, I think that there are lots of us who present somewhere. Like, I don't think I present as
Mhm.
totally effeminate. I wear lots of jeans and,
Mhm.
I am not the person in my normal everyday life. I'm not, have this makeup on and
Yeah.
jewelry and whatever. So I don't look as effeminate as someone
Mhm.
who wears heels and
Mhm.
jewelry and makeup. I don't look as effeminate as that person. Now, I'm not saying that I look as masculine as my husband because I
Yeah.
don't. And and I think that most of us fall
Yes.
into that.
The gray area.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
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 yeah. Because
Mhm.
binary is like you're like totally male or totally
Mhm.
female. Nobody. I
Yes.
mean, there's no confusion. But yeah, most of us, and we can go like you said from one day to the next because the next day I may have my pearls on and
Your
my
glamorous
black
day,
dress.
yeah.
And
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And so,
exactly.
yeah. And so that's part of that
But
whole
see,
thing.
it's the thing, like you get that, but not everyone gets that. Not everyone gets
Yes.
that. It's a social construct.
Right.
Yes.
Having gendered clothing is a social construct, and it's just funny to see the discourse on like Jesus is wearing a dress, because they all, he is.
Yeah.
He is. All of them are wearing dresses.
Right.
That was the
Right.
style back then of the fashion.
Yes, and it's crazy because heels were first worn by men, and so
Butchers.
I feel like this 180 was done in the 50s. I think I was doing my research on how the pink became a woman's color and the blue became men's color when it was switched before that. And baby photos of boy babies were them in a dress before the 50s. So something happened in the 50s, for fashion, it's great, but there's a lot of social just chaos that was happening in the 50s. And yeah, it's kind of just interesting how we're all now, when you're looking at an everyday wear, it's very neutral. T-shirt, jeans, and it's done. And that can
Right.
be for a guy
Well,
or
girl.
for women.
Yep.
And I think it's just the cut that separates the two, because women pockets still cannot even carry a phone. It's still, you can't even put your
Preach about
entire
that one.
you can't even put your entire hand in the pocket. So there's still, the cuts that makes a female jean versus a male jean.
And that's funny to me, because my youngest kid, when they were little, would wear their pants backward.
Okay.
And I would say, first I thought it's like, oh, you're confused, you can't figure out how to put your pants on. And then I realized, no, with 100% accuracy, this kid was wearing the pants backward. And it was the pockets.
The pockets,
and
yeah.
So when I was talking to my kid, I said, you have your pants on backwards, babe, and you always have them on backwards. And they're like, no, watch, mom. And so they sit there in front of me and they put their hands in their pocket, and they said, see, I can put my hands in my pocket. Yeah. I said, oh, I didn't understand that was why you were wearing them that way. You're wearing them perfect because you can get your hands in your pocket. So that's the right way to wear them then. If that's your goal, then that's perfect.
Well, it's just the women's jeans not having pockets is for them to buy bags. So it's just a whole, thing of shopping. And they don't target men as much as, like that. But it's just kind of crazy. Even now, there's makeup for men. The whole for men label, it's just crazy. It's just makeup.
Exactly.
And they're probably even paying more for the quote unquote for men. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Packaging. It's all black. It's all sleek and dark, and like
it's still makeup.
It's makeup.
And they do, and it's funny because if you find products that are sold in stores or in areas of stores that are for African American hair. Some of the products are also, so maybe it's a conditioner, and you can find it in another part of the store that's not for African American hair, but it's the same product. It tends to be more expensive. We get to pay the Black people, African American hair fee, and it's like, I'm sure the same thing with the men's makeup. It's makeup, so you get to pay the extra men's fee on the makeup.
I think African American is, in terms of the hair industry, has like, you guys are like the one that has like a lot of like money poured into hair and anything hair.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's kind of crazy because you would think that would be the commodity for big retail stores, but it's just like that one section over there. So I don't know. I mean, that's why I feel like when you go to like the beauty supply stores where it's like, I don't know how the price difference is, but I would assume that it's cheaper a little bit over there than if you go to like, Target or Walmart in their mini section,
And
it's probably packaged differently, so it's more expensive, but it's the same exact thing. Yeah. So it's definitely interesting how like pride just it has race in it. It has, our social female male construct in it. It's everything,
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So
Wow.
And
I
for
mean,
me,
pride was originated by the like black trans women of the 80s by Marsha P. Johnson, like
and she's the one
Stonewall.
who was accredited who's been credited with throwing that first brick
Brick.
at
Yeah.
Stonewall. Yeah.
Yes.
And then that's a whole the story that's I
It's a
think she
whole
said I
it's
got there
history. It's a whole
later,
thing, yeah.
but there's been a lot of a lot of the history
Yeah.
that's associated with the queer space
Yeah.
has been led by Black people and especially trans people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then we look at what happened during the AIDS crisis and how lesbians stepped up and took care of gay men when they were having, nurses didn't want to touch them because they didn't know what it was. So that we had the
Yeah.
lesbian sisters step up, and that's why, from my understanding, that's why it's LG. It's lesbians because of the support that they gave, as opposed because usually the men are first. And so
Yeah.
my understanding was it's lesbians because of the support that they gave. So lesbians, and then now there's these genders and like people are pansexual and they date across the board, and people who are demi who aren't really attracted to bodies but to minds.
To minds, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And asexual who
Right. Who are not
they don't have any
attracted.
sexual.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just really interesting to see how this is
The
spreading
evolution.
out. Yeah.
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 And not even
And I
that,
think
it's just the variations of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody's the same, and doesn't make a difference what color you come in. We
Yes.
all have variations of colors. I mean,
Yes.
even in Asian societies, there's variations of darker Asians and lighter Asians, and so many other variations of your own feelings and your own sexuality. You can't just combine it to two groups and expect and that's all it is, because we're just everybody has so many different facets to them.
And I think what you said with like not everyone looks the same even in their own race is so important, because like I'll talk to, for me as a Filipino, like being Filipino, there's no monolith of look, as for Black people there's no monolith, and I feel like like it's not like a lot of people don't know, but in the Philippines we have our own indigenous people that has been, I guess, kind of forgotten or ridiculed because they're darker skin. They have I'm not entirely sure the texture of hair, but it's curly hair. And it's like indigenous Filipinos.
Right.
And that's way before the Spaniards came and conquered the Philippines and mixed mixed everything in. And it's just kind of crazy because now there's still heavily a colorism issue in the Philippines. I'm obviously there's racist undertones in there. And growing up, you would have like comedy shows and they would do blackface, and I'm like, oh, it's funny. But it's so crazy now that you think about that. It's just, oh my gosh, everybody's doing it, And I think here in the US, obviously we're a little bit more advanced in the social cues and what not to do, because we are such a melting pot of people and we're learning from each other. And you would think that it's not fast enough, but trust me, when you compare it to other countries who is like homogenous, like Filipinos is just Filipinos, and what they deem beautiful is associated with white people, like fair skin, taller nose, blue eyes, like all of that is just a mess and it's not great. And so right now I'm doing my personal assignment of like looking up Filipino history, pre-colonial. I want to know like the religions that we could have had, because we had, I believe, a transgender goddess or god in the Philippines. But the Spaniards came really, really strong with Catholicism. And it definitely wiped up a lot of like, traditional Filipino cultures.
Mhm.
And now, you know, obviously that's the Spanish influence is part now of
Mhm.
Filipino culture, but it's just crazy when you
Yeah.
uproot history
Mhm.
Yes.
and see what could have been.
What could have
Mhm.
been. Exactly.
Because we
Exactly.
have our own traditional scripts, writing system. Like I said, the goddesses, gods. Um, that's all, you know,
Yeah. But that's
fantasy
Yeah.
now.
important. That's great. That's great that you're doing that, you know?
I think so
I think
too. I
Yeah,
that's
think
amazing that you're doing that.
yeah, the more we know about ourselves, the more, you know, we can understand. And the other thing about that is it's easier to break down some of the racism and the, you know, the stereotypes that people have, because
Hmm.
part of it is you live in a country. So my family has been here. My Black people have been here since at least the late 1700s. You know, we might have been here before then. I mean, I can take my history back that far.
yeah,
And so you go back and you look at, if you look at just what we're taught in school, we're not taught about
This is true.
all of the inventions and that we've made, that we continue to make. And so what happens is you then have a undervalued sense of self.
yeah,
And because your schools are teaching everybody white history,
yeah,
not women history, not people of color history, there is this there becomes this echelon. White men are the best,
hmm
you know, and then, you know, then it starts falling in. Is it men are better or women are better, whatever? But
it trickles down.
it's, yeah. So what happens is once you learn your history,
Hmm.
you come to the table very different, because you
Hmm.
come to the table knowing, you know,
Yeah,
so there's these concepts that we think are really advanced and, you know, only we know. It's like, no, indigenous people knew things too, you
yeah,
know, and so we need to know our history so we can say, no, we contributed to mankind in this way, and
yeah,
Hmm.
we
Yeah.
continue to contribute. But
Yeah.
without that history, it's sort of like, you know, you guys lived in the bushes and you guys ate
yeah,
grass, or I don't know what kind of stuff people, you know, misconceptions people have. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, these people were doing advanced things, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I
I
think,
think it builds your confidence as a
oh yeah,
person in general, right?
Yes,
To
yes.
find that, you know, that there is a history there and
Hmm.
there's a history of advancement, progression, like you said, religion, not
Hmm.
religion, but, you know, what they believed in, you know, the way that they cooked things, the way that they,
Hmm.
you know, built things. I mean, it gives you a sense of confidence in your own, from your own race and from your own, you know, background, that
Hmm.
these
yeah,
things were happening
Hmm.
before other people put their history upon that. And I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's so important, because I think as a person, you know, we do get beat down so much about what we don't have, what we haven't contributed or anything like that. And we know that, yeah, our ancestors have done amazing things and they still brought things to this country and been part of this country to build certain things. And you know, even within their own countries, they you know, before other people came over here, they were living and doing great things, you know what I mean,
Hmm.
Right,
in their
right.
own
Yeah.
space.
They
And
were
so
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
they were, you know, they were making it
Yeah.
happen. I
Exactly.
mean, so so I think it's great that you're doing that, you know, just for
Yes.
your own sense of
Yeah.
understanding who you really are and bringing confidence
Well,
to that,
because
you know.
I
Yes.
think growing up, I've always had the, oh, you know, you probably have the Spanish blood because you're fair skin. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And I thought it was such the biggest compliment, you know,
Hmm.
ever, because I was fair skin in the Philippines and all that. But I'm like, it's not now. I'm seeing how that's such a problem because it's not a good thing to, you know, praise someone for a skin color or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
degrade someone from a skin color. You guys, have you guys watched Pose?
I love it.
Yes.
Pose is so
Yes,
great.
I love it.
Obviously, there are some romanticized aspects to it, on what happened, but I do find that really, really great how they're all trans women,
Mm-hmm.
or trans men in the ballroom scene, because that would have been, it's not a small pool of people to pull from,
Hmm.
but it's smaller than, you know,
Yes.
the Hollywood standard of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's
Hmm.
really, really great that, you know, they're Black, they're trans, all of these check marks into that character. And I thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. Because like you said, it was just such a plethora of you know, of that community, you know what I mean? Getting the opportunity to act and do what they love to do, and getting, you know, and allowing people to see who they were. I thought that was great. I love the show. I think it's a great show. It really is. And
I feel like it kind of not spoon feeds people who don't know trans history, but I feel like it's a good way to enter how it is like living as a trans woman. Obviously, it's, you know, it's a show, so some things there might be a little bit more
dramatic or not.
Dramatic, but it does happen. You know, Black trans women are often like, of course, Black Americans are already often being killed. But you add the trans on top of that, it's just double. It's just double dipping. So I feel like, you know, they have the, you know, the passing, like I said earlier, the passing in there. I think Angel, I believe, is the one who often passes. Because she got into, spoiler alert, the modeling and everything, and no one knew. And for me, Elektra is the goddess. I love Elektra. I love just powerful women.
She's so much,
I just love it, and the way I just wanted to steal all of her clothes, which she probably stole in the first season. They stole. But it's so good. It's just so good.
Yeah, it's so good. And it lets you in, like you said, it's a part of a community that you may not have been aware of, you know, but also not just that, but understanding their lifestyle, right? And what, you know what I mean? And part of that. And I think that's important. You know, I think that's just always important to understand the backstory of anybody.
Well, it's literally the foundation of gay rights. You know, because the ballroom scene is the houses, your family. And I think, like RuPaul said, we as gay people, we get to choose our family. And I think that's really, really important, because obviously blood is thicker than water, but if the blood is already expiring, there's no going back.
Right.
So you just have to choose your own, like, kin, is that what it's called? Kin, folks, connections and everything. And I think that's really important for the youth to understand that, you know, I do think that, though, now that, like, for Gen Z, or what is after that, like the much younger generation, it's not easier, but obviously it's a little bit more welcoming to have all of these identities, because I can just see even the Gen Zs, they're more open to sexualities and genders and different points of views, and it's really, really great. It's great.
Yeah, it really is. When we went to New York for COVID, we went back to, one of my kids and I went back to New York, and we went to Stonewall. And my kid was not of age. So it's like, you know, you need to know history. We're just going to walk in, you know, and out. We're going to just walk, you know, walk around and out, so that, you know, no one comes and says, hey, you're too young. Before anybody gets a chance to check us out, we're going to be out. But you need to know history. You need to see it. You need to see this history, because this is significant.
Wait, you were able to go inside?
Yeah, we went inside.
Oh my! I thought you were just like around the area.
No. So this is an important part of history.
Wow.
I said,
that's cool.
Because my kid was like, oh, I'm too young. They're gonna say I can't go in. When they say you can't go in, then we will go out. You know, it was during the day, so that there was nobody standing at the door. It's like, we're just walking in here.
Oh, there's no bouncer. Gotcha.
Yeah, we didn't see any bouncer. We just, and if it was, the bouncer didn't say anything to us. We didn't go in and order any drinks. We just walked in, walked around, you know, the club, looked around.
Were you speed walking? Were you speed walking, or you were cruising around though?
You know, we were. I think if we were speed walking, we probably would have drawn more attention to ourselves. I said, you know,
lay low.
You need to know. You're gonna walk through here. You're gonna see it and come back out. You know, we're right here. Because I can't remember where we were going, but we ended up coming, you know, I don't know if you've ever been there, but there's this park across the street. So it's like, wait a minute, it's Stonewall. Oh, wait a minute, that's the end? Oh, yeah, we're going in there. Yeah, we're going in there.
Wow.
That's cool, man.
That's cool, yeah. It's, yeah, I mean, we still have I think lots to do, as a
Oh, yes, we
society,
definitely do.
socially. I mean, just in race, just in equality, there's so many things to do. There's reparations for the indigenous community,
Mhm.
and yeah, I don't know. Bob the drag queen said that I feel like because the white male is on top of the food chain, I think women, like, women are the most powerful thing, and lesbians on top of that, like you said, is the first thing on the LGBT, and I think in socially too, lesbians are on top. They don't need a man, you know. They
Yeah.
need
Right.
it's all girls, and so it's really great, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
But
It's great.
I do. Have you guys watched Disclosure
I
on
haven't seen
Netflix?
Disclosure.
No.
No.
Disclosure, they talk about trans. It's all just
Okay.
trans men, trans women, and how Hollywood portrayed trans people, and how it's
Oh, that's
often as a joke, often as
Mhm.
like, why is it always about the genitalia? Even on
Mhm.
interviews, they would show interviews in the 80s, and oh, how do you hide it? And it's so crazy of the questions are not
Yeah.
like, why is this a question?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's really great. I do recommend Disclosure on Netflix.
Okay.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's good.
All
That's
right. I'll go
good. And
check that
that's
out.
something for the audience to listen to too. Yeah, to check
Yeah.
out too. Yeah. So yeah. So this has been a wonderful, wonderful interview, like it always is when we get to spend some
Thank
time
you.
with
Thank
you.
you.
And
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
So where do you want people to reach out to you to see what's going on and what's new and
I mean, like I said, I just want to try and make more representation for my
mhm,
dolls,
Mhm.
whether it's race, whether it's sizes. Right now, like I said, I'm trying to do research on my own culture, so I
mhm,
want to try and make more dolls about that.
cool.
Nice.
Um, Try to make more black dolls, of course, because I feel like it's not seen enough, or just
Mhm,
darker dolls in general. I
Mhm.
feel
mhm,
like that will combat colorism
mhm,
Mhm.
in the doll space. Hopefully, I
Right.
don't know if I'm doing. But yeah, I think that really matters, and I'm really excited for the Little Mermaid. I don't know why it's such a discourse still,
yes.
but Halle Bailey is our new Little Mermaid. She's
Okay.
Mhm.
beautiful. But yeah, just more dolls, just more queer dolls from me,
Mhm.
more colorful, hopefully, more heroes.
Great.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
we're
where can they
looking
reach
forward to
out?
it.
Where can they find your
you guys can
amazing
find me
stuff?
on Hextian on YouTube, Hextian on Instagram, Hextian on Facebook, dot videos, I believe, on Facebook. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And
I'm
it's
always on YouTube.
and it's how do you spell Hextian for our audience?
It's gonna be Hextian.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Very
It's
cool.
always
Thank you
so wonderful to
guys.
see you. So
We
Yes.
need
much love for
Thank
to
you.
you.
Yeah.
we would probably make this a quarterly thing. If you
Yes.
guys would
Let's do
love it.
that.
I have some other people. We've talked, a little bit about hooking you up with some other people. I think there's
Oh,
going to be some
okay.
fun interviews in the future
Okay.
with you. Yeah.
It's a good excuse to get dressed up. That's why I asked Miss Tammy. I was like, is it gonna be camera or not? I need to know. But
Camera this time so you can be glamorous,
That's
be
right.
glamorous
and I
you.
think it's more fun. It's more fun to see everyone,
I think so
Yeah. Yeah.
too.
Me
and we can
too.
actually
Yeah.
have the show and tell,
Yeah.
of dolls.
That'd be
So
wonderful. Very
lovely.
cool. Yes.
It's
Well,
so
thank
good
you
to
so
see
much for
you.
being on in the doll world with us again. Hexian,
Yes.
we'll
It's
always
always
love
an
your
honor.
company. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. All
Okay.
right. All right, honey. We'll see you
Thank you guys.
later.
Okay. Love
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye, sweetie.